The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Movie merchandising has always been a curious beast, a monstrous hybrid of consumerism and fandom that spits out everything from action figures to bedsheets. We document a lot of that here on the channel, but let's talk about one of the more bizarre branches of this ever-expanding tree: novelty items. Yes, oddball trinkets designed to make you feel like you've taken home a piece of the movie with you, without actually stealing anything. We did this once with Harrison Ford, and it wasn't worth it, but stay tuned for our sequel with Mark Hamill. You're gonna love it. Movie novelties have been around for decades, but this year, they've made a comeback in a big way, but folks, they may have gone just a smidge Pinciotti too far. Today, we're talking about the strangely seductive popcorn buckets of 2024, but before we get into that, hit the subscribe button, make sure your bell notification is turned on to all, and if you wouldn't mind, hit the share button. All you gotta do is copy the URL and that counts as a share. But folks, that's just one small way to help us grow to 200K. Remember the good old days when you could get a Batman mug with a giant cape that was completely impractical? Or when we were kids and every cereal box seemed to have a toy inside and that was the real reason why we wanted the cereal? I know those color changing spoons were pretty cool, but the lightsaber ones? Ooh, they were the toughest thing to beat. Those were the golden years when movie studios knew exactly how to squeeze every last penny from our pockets. Back then, consumerism was, quote-unquote, fun. I know I loved getting my Batman Happy Meal, my Godzilla cup from Taco Bell, or the Star Wars posters from Pizza Hut. Fast food still has Happy Meal toys, but such things have changed. I don't see offers for a 99-cent mug with the purchase of a value meal or a videotape either, and that McDonald's promotion is exactly how I discovered Back to the Future and got into Wayne's World. It was fun, but those are just fast food novelties. We're here to talk about movie theater novelties, and they're even older. We all love a big commemorative cup or a keychain, but as time has marched on, these novelties weren't enough, and they faded into the background. They were overshadowed by more sophisticated marketing campaigns that focused on all things digital. Until recently. In the last few years, these quirky collectibles have roared back to life, thanks in no small part to the rise of geek culture and the simple fact that theaters need to be profitable post-pandemic. Movie theater novelties have exploded in popularity over the last few years, transforming from a simple promotional item into a coveted collectible. The variety of merchandise has expanded beyond popcorn buckets to include plushies, tumblers, hats, and other bullcrap that I don't need, but these limited edition items are working and people are rushing out in droves to collect them. Now every major blockbuster comes with its own line of limited edition must-have items that people are willing to sell their kidneys for on eBay. What we're about to talk about is the popcorn bucket, and that is no different. Popcorn buckets used to be simple, functional items. You bought them, you filled them with the buttery goodness, and you tossed them in the trash after the movie. They were as disposable as most of the films you saw. But now, they're a status symbol, a collectible, a piece of movie history, another way to make money. Again, novelty buckets are not a new thing. Neither is money. But popcorn buckets that look like your unmentionables are, and they're all the rage. It all started innocently enough until Dune showed up and blew everyone's minds. Not with its epic storytelling, not with its epic visuals, but with a popcorn bucket that looked like well, you know. The 2024 Dune popcorn bucket didn't just arrive, it descended from hell. Or perhaps more accurately, from the broken imaginations of a marketing team that took one too many spice melange trips. Allegedly shaped like a sandworm, this monstrosity was designed to tribute the film's epic scale, but it looked more like something you'd find at your local hustler Hollywood. It was supposed to make you feel like Paul Atreides himself wrestling with the desert's most fearsome beast, but instead, it had you wrestling with the question, could you stick your dick in this? As you continue to put your hand in the bucket, you begin to wonder if that buttery goodness is actually butter or, you know what, I'm sorry, this is too much, let's move on. Some fans praise this as a work of art, calling it the pinnacle of movie merchandising, while others likened it to a cursed object from an Indiana Jones movie. Memes popped up all over the internet. Those were all great, but most said it looked like a fleshlight. The obsession with the Dune popcorn bucket continues to rage on months later, as pieces on the secondary market reach as high as $800? Geez, these people are freaks. One thing is clear, the Dune popcorn bucket had the internet talking, and it was hilarious. Not to be outdone by Dune's tastefully done pleasure device, the people behind Deadpool and Wolverine created these monstrosities. You can feign ignorance with the Dune bucket, but the Deadpool and Wolverine one is a little harder to disguise. Not that that was ever the plan. The suggestive popcorn bucket is now a new thing thanks to Deadpool and Wolverine. It seems like Dune fell into the seductive territory, but Deadpool planted himself firmly into it. Now fans can fist their favorite MCU characters, just as long as they're Deadpool and Wolverine. This brilliant strategy clearly worked, as the buckets are still in high demand on the secondary market. The film also just crossed $1 billion, so there's that too. Deadpool's marketing is on point, and it shows you that you need more than a good movie to make $1 billion. Luckily for Marvel, Deadpool has all those parts. Now, I don't want this video to turn into a circle jerk for Deadpool and Wolverine, so let's get moving on to the newest bucket, and this one might be the most suggestive of all. Just when you thought it couldn't get any weirder, along comes the Alien franchise to remind us that yes, it can, and yes, you can make popcorn buckets more suggestive, even unintentionally. Brace yourself, folks, because the latest popcorn bucket to hit theaters is a spitting image of an iconic spitter, the Xenomorph. You've probably seen the meme, and if not, don't worry, here it is. People are confused by how this one got past Disney, but it didn't. You see, unlike Dune, this popcorn bucket is intentionally suggestive, but not being aggressively marketed like Deadpool. Why would they make an alien popcorn bucket that looks so suggestive? Well, because the alien's design is based on a wiener. The man behind the look of Alien was H.R. Giger. H.R. Giger's design of the Xenomorph and aliens is nothing short of a masterpiece. A nightmare brought to life, dripping with terror and, well, a lot of symbolism. The Xenomorph's sleek design is the stuff of sci-fi legend, but let's not beat around the bush. Giger's design is as phallic as possible. Just look at the head. It's not even subtle. The elongated dome, the way it thrusts forward with such confidence, it's like the alien is compensating for something. Some argue that this is all part of the alien's terrifying appeal, but at a certain point you have to wonder if Giger was just having a laugh at our expense. After all, nothing says fear me quite like a creature that's basically a walking Freudian slip. So here's the dilemma. You have an accurate replica of a Xenomorph for a popcorn bucket, but the Xenomorph is based on a dong. So basically you have a popcorn bucket based on a dong, and they're not even trying to hide it. According to an official release, customers can pick up the Xenomorph head popcorn bucket molded after the franchise's iconic movie monster. This bucket shares the same oblong alien head as the Xenomorph, with its shiver-inducing eyeless face, gnashing teeth, and all of that. Thanks to a flippable lid, the popcorn is stored in the back of the head. This is one of the few buckets on this recent trend to do away with the traditional cylindrical form factor. It doubles as a vessel for salty snacks and a stellar mantle-worthy collectible. Yeah, because you're hanging dong on the wall. At least this Mandango bucket comes with a large popcorn so you don't feel like you're getting hosed on value. So here we are, living in a world where popcorn buckets have become a litmus test for how far we'll go to prove our love for a movie, or how kinky we're willing to go with our collectibles. What's next? A Jaws popcorn bucket that's actually a fish tank? A Fast and Furious one that's actually a car? Or how about this? A Star Wars themed popcorn bucket that's just a mini Death Star that actually blows up. It'll be more exciting than the movies. But here's the real question. When will people stop buying them? When will the madness end? The happy truth is, probably never. As long as studios can tap into our nostalgia, or our deeper psyche, expect these things to keep coming. There's already a huge collector's market for them. Outside of the ones that look like marital aids, there's a huge swell of these things. They range from cool, like the Ghostbusters ones, to lame, like the one that's an inside-out controller. What I really want to know deep down is, how weird can they get? We've probably reached the zenith on this, but I'm always down for some suggestive merchandise. It's a conversation starter. Heck, here's one for you now. Do you think people are going to store their Alien bucket inside their Dune bucket because it's a symbol of their two favorite sci-fi series crossing over? Me neither. Just expect those memes in the morning. So folks, thank you for watching. What do you think about the popcorn buckets, and what do you think about us talking about some merchandise that's not exclusively on the shelves? Let me know down in the comments below. I look at the numbers and anything merch-based you seem to watch, so if you want more merch-based stuff, let me know by sharing this video and help the view count go up. We're on our way to 200K, folks, so you know what to do to help us get there. I've been your host, Jeff, and I'll be back next time with more. But in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.